Congressman Norcross.
Well, it's great to be back in Lawnside. Certainly, the mayor, myself, and certainly members of council have worked together for a very long time, and going back into the senior housing, which for some members was their school, was a trip back in time, and it's good that we could save that heritage and certainly provide for them what is very important, senior housing. To the mayor, who, just a side note, we were at the ShopRite the other day for an event to raise money for the food bank, and they had us as baggers. Now, just for the record, I'm a professional bagger. My first job was shopping bag. I knew how to double bag them. But Mayor Warlow, she knows how to do it better than I do. She used all plastic though, double bagged, and she did a great job for a great cause. So, Mayor, nice job. I'll win next year. Lou Capelli, who has been a great advocate for the county of Camden, and certainly for the new police force, which we were just able to secure that grant for. They have had to make some tough decisions, and in order to do so, in politics, sometimes people like to run away from those tough decisions. Lou and the Freeholder Board have made those tough decisions, which happen to be the right decisions, to make sure that they can bring to the city of Camden, to the county, a police force that is worthy of their citizens. And I just want to again thank them, the Freeholder Board, and for the administration for what they've done. They certainly appreciate it. We were going to have Nilsa Cruz Perez, our senator, with us tonight. Unfortunately, she is ill. That's the bad news. The good news is we have my colleague, Whit Wilson, who is going to be filling in a few moments. And he and I, along with Angel, served together for a number of years in the legislature, and it was a great experience bringing that wealth of knowledge and diversity together to make sure that we were bringing to the state of New Jersey those ideas to help folks. I just want to recognize also a young man in the back of the room who I hired when I was a senator, who now works for the U.S. Senator, Senator Booker, Billy Moen. Good to have you here, Billy. And we also have, and this is something you don't get to say, Assemblywoman Select Pat Jones, who will be joining the legislature as soon as they can reconvene. Pat, where are you?
I'm over here.
Back to the Future. How many years with Walter Rand and company, and then to have the honor to go back. It'll be wonderful to see you sworn in.
Thank you.
Last November 8th, I was elected to a special term in the U.S. Congress, vacated by Rob Andrews. 4 days later, with my grandson by my side, I took the oath of office, and it was a remarkable day for an electrician who grew up in Pennsauken. Typically, the average person who serves in Congress is not an electrician. We have 211 attorneys, and my apologies to those of you who might be in the profession. My daughter is one and my brother is one, but there was only one electrician. And the reason I tell you that is because diversity comes in many shapes and sizes. Certainly, when it comes to the ideas of public service, I think it was healthy to have different opinions. I spent my career helping men and women in the trade of being an electrician to get jobs, to get good employment, to make sure that they were paid well, that they had health insurance, that they had a pension. I was able to take that experience with me to Trenton and then ultimately to Washington, because what I heard then is the same thing I'm hearing now, and what I've been focused on is jobs and the economy. We have come through the most difficult time economically that our nation has faced, anybody living in this room. It has been rough. It was particularly rough for people in the construction industry that I had represented. I knew firsthand how tough it was losing your job. But then to have somebody lose their home, lose their family, and in too many cases, and I see my brother from the laborers who understands this, other issues started to kick in, addiction, to the point that his only way out was to take his life. That makes a profound impact on what I do. So when they talk about unemployment and jobs, it takes a very deep meaning to me. And I have said for my entire career, the best social program is a good job. It gives the person the dignity to make sure that he can take care of his or her family, go to work, provide for them and for their next generation. The second thing that I heard repeatedly, and I see some young faces in this room, is a quality education. And that education can be from the elementary, and I can talk about that a little bit, or higher education. So those who want to pursue a college career can do so, and can do it without coming out with $250,000 worth of debt. I like to tell the story. My first house that I bought was $61,000 at 13.5% interest. And I was damn happy I got 13.5% because it ended up going to 15%. Private school in this country right now, $60,000 to $62,000 a year. That's not affordable by your average family. And certainly if you want to take out the loans and you do the math, you could be walking out of college with $250,000 of debt. And yet, through the federal government, you can only refinance that once. So I have been a co-sponsor of a bill that will allow that to be refinanced multiple times. The issue that we're up against is that's a revenue generator. Yes, you heard me right. That's a revenue generator for the government. And in order for them to replace it, we have to come up with another scheme. So as ridiculous as it sounds, that's the driving force, and certainly we're going to be continuing to try to fight that. And one of the ways is with a plan that I think is outstanding. You heard earlier about the community college. Camden County is a wonderful institution. And the fact of the matter, whether it's through the STARS program, which was created by the legislature, or the program that the president has suggested, is to have community colleges free. Yeah, free, if you earn it. And even if that does not go through, and you take your first 2 years at community college, those credits are transferable because of a bill passed by Assemblywoman Lampett a few years ago. Because it used to be you could come out with your credits and then the college wouldn't take it. Now if you go to a New Jersey college, they have to take it. That cuts that debt in half. And if you go to a state school, that's bringing it down into the world that most families will have a chance of affording. Before I go on, I just want to make sure that I introduce my staff, because what has been driving the force of having these town hall meetings, and they're not unique to us, but what is unique is something that I learned when I ran a nonprofit called UOSS, and you now know it as 411 Community Services, is that the last thing that people calling us want to hear is, oh, that's not my wheelhouse, you'll have to call somewhere else. Frustrating. So after having discussions with the freeholder and the legislators, we wanted to bring you each level of government so that if it's not my wheelhouse, it might be in Lou's or Whip's, or certainly the mayor's or the Board of Education. Because you don't want to hear, I don't know. Well, it might be the case that we don't have the information tonight, but our job is to get it to you. And one of the certainly areas that I want to focus on is to make sure that our services were available to everyone. And we have Adam Klein, who just joined us a few weeks ago. He came to us as a Wounded Warrior program, who is now advocating for veterans across our great district. Adam, put up your hand. Good to have you here. He's a guy who knows how to fight for benefits. He and Leanne, listen, you want to go to them when you need something. They have been doing a terrific job, and I'm sure he will continue to do so. We have over 125 years of experience in that office. So if we don't have it at our fingertips, we're going to get it for you. So everybody in my office, would you please raise your hand so they can see who you are and chase them down. Carl is our new district director. Fran Tagmeyer moved on after a number of years. He certainly was very helpful. I'm going to try to keep my comments a little bit short, although I already went past that. It is extremely important that when we're advocating on behalf of you, in fact, it was our last meeting at Pennsauken, a police officer who had served our country as a Marine and who had been injured in a line of duty was having trouble getting his pension. We found out 2 days ago that Carl, he got his pension today, and now he's going to get it. Those are the things we want to do. But when we're talking about the issues, and certainly because of economic conditions and other items that certainly influence mortgages, being underwater, being reversed is a major issue. And there's some very bad people out there trying to take advantage of people. You know, your home is that special place in your heart. You know, in America, home, white picket fence, it's what you invested in. And when you're about to lose that, you'll do just about anything to keep it. And there are pariahs out there just waiting for those type of people. And there was a family who literally had their furniture out on the front porch, half of it at the curb, who were about to be evicted. And we were able to put a stop to that. And 2 weeks ago, found out that through the program that's instituted for remortgaging, they're able, as long as they pay their new modified mortgage for the next 12 months, they're now back in their home. Sometimes you do need a voice, and that's what we're here for. I'm going to keep the rest of my comments so I can hear your questions. This is designed to be interactive. We're here to try to answer your questions. Certainly, that's what we were elected to do. And when I look down the list of things that we're working on, tomorrow, we're on the 9 o'clock train. I'm leaving back for Washington because tomorrow we're welcoming the Pope at the White House. It's a remarkable time for a remarkable gentleman who, regardless of your religion, you certainly can believe in his message. And that is a message of working together. Something that I can't wait till he talks to Congress about. And without getting into the weeds, the end of this month, which is 8 days away, we have 5 legislative days, including one with the Pope, which I don't think we're going to get too much done there. That a decision, if nothing is done, they're going to shut down government again. Now, how sick and tired of you are that they can't sit down as adults and work out a deal. I was sworn in, Whip and others, when the Governor Christie was sworn in. And nobody's going to tell me that he and I are on the same page on many issues. But there are issues that we know we have to get done. So we sit down, we have those discussions like adults do, and we get them done. That dysfunction is not happening in Washington, and I am not going to contribute to it. It is something that disgusts me to no end, because they're going to do something called a continuing resolution if they want to keep it open. What that means is, what you did last year and the year before, you're just going to push it down the road and do that. That means for the last 9 months, what we've been doing in Congress, holding hearings, fighting on amendments, things that we care about, thousands of hours by thousands of people means nothing. Because they don't have the guts to sit down and work out a deal. That's not the America that I was brought up in, and that's certainly not the ones that I hear from day in and day out. So if you want to hear the rhetoric by those who are on TV blaming government, as I suggested to folks, at some point, people need to make sure that they're believing their government. You know what? Because they do. When you go up the street here to Whitehorse Pike, and you come to an intersection, there's red up there, you're going to stop. Or if it's green, you're praying that somebody believes that government is doing something right, that they'll stop for that red light. But when you keep beating up the institution that we're all part of, that's not good for the future of the United States of America. When you send your child, or if you've served, you don't want to believe that this is not the greatest country in the world. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, along with help of the freeholders, the assemblymen, and everybody else. With that, let me turn it back to Freeholder Capelli, and then we'll get to your questions as soon as we can. Thank you.